There's some rumours. There was rumours that it was going to be Khamzat DDP. Turns out that doesn't look like it's true. There's now rumours it's going to be Ilia Topuria versus Islam. Is that a particular...
Well, we all know that fight's happening. The Du Plessis versus Khamzat fight. It's happening. It's just not happening in the fight. That fight's done. Just not happening now.
And Ilia is...
By now you've probably heard the whispers, the rumours, and the endless fan speculation, but this time it's official. Dana White has finally confirmed that Khamzat Chimaev will challenge Dricus Du Plessis for the UFC middleweight championship. The announcement came after UFC Kansas, where Dana made it clear that the fight is happening. Not during International Fight Week, but it's signed, sealed, and coming soon. Let's talk about why this fight matters so much. Khamzat Chimaev is 14-0 and has torn through the UFC with a level of dominance we rarely see. He out-wrestled Kamaru Usman, finished Robert Whittaker in the first round, and made a name for himself as one of the most dangerous contenders in the division. His relentless pressure, elite grappling, and ability to end fights quickly have turned him into a fan favourite, and a betting favourite too. Odds makers already have him as the early pick to win this fight. But Dricus Du Plessis is not just some stepping stone. He's the reigning champion for a reason. The South African wrecking machine holds wins over Israel Adesanya, Sean Strickland, twice, Robert Whittaker, and Derek Brunson. His fighting style may look awkward at times, but it's brutally effective. Du Plessis brings serious knockout power, cardio, and a pace that breaks his opponents down. He recently teased the matchup on Instagram with a simple caption that said it all: "It's time." Even Du Plessis' coach, Morn Visser, confirmed that the fight is on. He shut down injury rumours and said they're just waiting for the contract. According to him, they're not fighting during International Fight Week because the UFC has other plans for that event. But beyond that, it's a done deal. Dricus is fighting Khamzat. Now let's get into what really makes this fight so intriguing. Both fighters bring very different weapons to the cage. Chimaev is a grappling machine with relentless wrestling, while Du Plessis is a physical force with unorthodox but powerful striking. This is a true clash of styles, and fans are already debating how their skill sets will stack up against each other. When it comes to grappling, Khamzat is on another level. He averages over 4 takedowns per 15 minutes with 46% accuracy, and has a perfect 100% takedown defense in the UFC. On the ground, he's a nightmare. He transitions fast, looks for submissions constantly, and is particularly dangerous with his Darcy choke. Against elite fighters like Usman and Kevin Holland, Chimaev didn't just win, he dominated. His ability to chain wrestling into immediate submission threats is something few in the division can handle. But don't sleep on Du Plessis' ground game. He's one of the strongest guys at 185 pounds and has underrated grappling. He averages 2.55 takedowns per 15 minutes at 50% accuracy and has a dangerous guillotine choke. However, his takedown defense sits at just 50%, and that could be a red flag against someone like Chimaev. In the past, he's been out-grappled by strong wrestlers like Derek Brunson, but his raw physicality and ability to scramble make him tough to control or submit. The key here is how their styles collide. Can Khamzat impose his pressure and dominate on the mat like he always does? Or will Du Plessis use his strength and awkward style to frustrate Chimaev and land big shots on the feet? This isn't just a striker versus grappler matchup. It's a test of who can push their style harder when everything is on the line. Khamzat has been expected to fight for a title for years. Back in 2020, he racked up 3 wins in 2 months and looked like an unstoppable force. But injuries and setbacks slowed his rise. Now, at 30 years old, he finally gets his chance to claim UFC gold. Meanwhile, Du Plessis, now 31, is looking for his 3rd straight title defense, with a 9-fight UFC win streak under his belt. He's already taken out the division's elite and wants to silence anyone who still doubts him. This fight is going to be violent, unpredictable, and absolutely must-see. We don't have a date yet, but the fight is happening. When these two step inside the octagon, it's going to be chaos. Wrestling versus power, pressure versus grit, undefeated contender versus battle-tested champion. Someone's streak is ending, and history is about to be made.
Dricus Du Plessis, the man. It looks like it's going to be very difficult to get the belt off of him. He still has work to do at middleweight. Khamzat Chimaev being problem number one. But watching Dricus today, I don't know that Chimaev just drives across the mat and takes him down. He's so good at what he does. I know Chimaev has a massive following and people like him. He's been dominant. I just don't know that he has ever seen anyone like Du Plessis. How do you train for him? Who can you bring in that does the things that Du Plessis does? Du Plessis throws punches and kicks at the same time, and it works. He's a puzzle that has not been solved in the UFC. It's going to be very difficult to get the belt off.
Do you believe you can beat Islam? Es que cuántas veces ya. Claro que sí. Claro que sí. Makhachev male აუცილებლად. იმედია ამ ჩხუბის მერე. იმედია ამ ჩხუბის მერე.
By now, we all know Ilia Topuria as the undefeated UFC featherweight champion, the man who took over the division and isn't shy about calling people out. But lately, there's one name that keeps coming out of his mouth: Islam Makhachev. Yeah, that Islam Makhachev, the lightweight king. And if you've been paying attention, you'll know this beef has been simmering for a while now. But recently, it's heating up. Topuria has been pushing hard for a lightweight title shot. He wants to fight Islam. But here's the thing, Islam, he's not that interested.
In a hypothetical fight against Islam, how do you see that fight going? If it goes to the ground, do you feel confident that you could out-grapple him, or would you try to keep it standing? And
My mindset is always the same. I'm always looking to achieve things that no one could. So someone could submit him. I will be the first one to submit him. And
any specific submission?
Now I heard some love from some idiot, but it's gonna happen.
And then Khabib Nurmagomedov stepped in. See, Khabib, who's not just Islam's longtime friend, but also someone who knows the fight game inside and out, made it clear. He said Islam has already taken on 2 featherweight champions before, beat them both. So why should he give a third one a shot, especially when that fighter hasn't even proven himself at 155? Khabib kept it real in an interview. He said, if Topuria comes up, gets a title shot, and loses, then fights again at lightweight and loses again. What does that say? It makes him look like a nobody in that division. That doesn't help Islam's legacy. That's why we want him to face real contenders, guys like Arman Tsarukyan.
И он дрался, и он даже дрался с чемпионом 66, летел к нему. Он сам на то, да, в Австралию полетел, у него там на заднем дворе подрался. Команда, мы считаем, что Topuria, он достойный боец. Но он чемпион, защитил пояс, выиграл очень серьезных ребят. Но эти все ребята, которые были в 66, даже тот же самый Холлоуэй, который он выиграл, он перешел на 70, он ничего не сделал. Из-за этого нам нужно, чтобы Исламу тоже немного осталось. Если так посмотреть, Исламу скоро 34 будет. Но Ислам тоже хочет драться не с Topuria и с Volkanovski, или который вышел на замену с Майканом. Ислам хочет драться с большими именами, которые заслуживают, которые давно уже в 70 килограмм. Ты переходишь вес, заслужи, и у нас примерно вот такая позиция.
Now Ilia, he didn't take that lightly. He jumped on X, Twitter, clapped back at Khabib and said, Khabib knows I'm the one to take the belt from Islam. Only reason he doesn't want Islam to fight me. And it didn't stop there. Earlier this year, right after UFC 311, Topuria tweeted directly at Islam, if I want to, I can finish you. If I want to, I can knock you out. I'll make it look easy. See you soon. Bold words. Real bold. But there's more to this story. Chael Sonnen, who never holds back, weighed in too. On ESPN's Good Guy, Bad Guy, he said he doesn't believe Islam is scared. In fact, he thinks Islam would be insulted to even be asked to fight another featherweight. Chael said, Islam took fights on short notice. He's a real fighter. He's not ducking anyone. But asking him to defend against another 45er, that's a slap in the face. Even Islam's manager, Rizvan Magomedov, chimed in, saying if Topuria wants that fight, he should go through someone like Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira first, prove he belongs at lightweight. And let's not forget UFC CEO Dana White. He hasn't promised anything. He said maybe Makhachev versus Topuria could happen at International Fight Week, but that's still up in the air. So where does that leave us? We've got Topuria, hungry, undefeated, and calling for the biggest fight of his life. We've got Islam, the champ, staying focused and being picky about what fights actually matter for his legacy. And we've got Khabib, the legend, standing guard over Islam's path. Will the UFC make it happen? Or will Topuria be forced to prove himself first? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this story is far from over.
Makhachev, legacy matters. And Khabib went into that, right? He goes, Islam will fight anybody. Islam himself said, I'll fight anybody. But he doesn't have much time left. If you think about it, Khabib said, Islam will be 34 soon. So Islam doesn't want to fight Topuria or Volkanovski or someone stepping in on short notice like Renato Moicano. He wants to fight the big names who really deserve it. Guys who have been at 155 for a long time. We have nothing personal against Ilya. But if you're moving up a weight class, earn it. That's more or less our stance. That's Khabib. That there is as telling as anything you'll hear from anyone, because that is Team Islam saying it's not really.
Back-to-back losses, done at 36? Nah, Volkanovski just delivered one of the gutsiest performances of his career. What do you think? Share your thoughts in comment section. By now, we've all seen what Alexander Volkanovski is capable of. But after 2 tough knockout losses, people were starting to doubt him. Some even said he was done. Well, they were wrong. Because at UFC 314, Volkanovski did what champions do. He came back stronger. In a 5-round war, he beat Diego Lopez by unanimous decision and took back the featherweight title. The great is champion again. Let's break down how it all went down. Before the fight, going into UFC 314, the pressure was on. Volkanovski had just turned 36. He was coming off back-to-back knockouts, first against Islam Makhachev, then against Ilia Topuria. A lot of fans were asking, can he still hang with the best? On the other side, you had Diego Lopez, ranked number 3 in the world, riding a 5-fight win streak. This was his big chance, his first title shot. And he wasn't just coming to fight. He was coming to take that belt. The build-up was tense. Volkanovski promised he was ready. Lopez said he was going to bring fireworks, and when the cage door shut, they both delivered. Round 1. Volkanovski came out sharp. He was focused, fast, and accurate. His hooks were landing clean, and his low kicks kept Lopez guessing. Lopez tried to fire back, but Volkanovski was just 1 step ahead. He even scored a takedown late in the round to stamp it. Round 2. This one was wild. Volk looked in control early, landing clean combos. But right before the bell, boom. Lopez caught him with a beautiful 1-2. Volkanovski hit the mat. It was a scary moment, but he stayed calm and bounced back fast. Round 3. Volkanovski got back to work. He kept his distance, used his jab, and picked his shots. Lopez couldn't find a rhythm. Volk's footwork and timing were on point. He kept chopping away at the legs and made Lopez miss big. Round 4. Now this is where things got dicey again. Lopez landed an uppercut that clipped Volkanovski's eye. You could see him blinking, trying to clear it. Lopez went all in, throwing everything he had. But Volk stayed smart, weathered the storm, and fired back with counters before the round ended. Round 5, in final round. Both guys gave it everything. Lopez pushed forward, hoping for a finish. But Volkanovski kept his cool, landed the cleaner shots, and avoided a brawl. He ended strong, and when the final horn sounded, it felt like he had done enough. The decision. All 3 judges saw it for Volkanovski, 49-46, 49-46, and 48-47. And just like that, he was champion again. He made history too, becoming only the second 2-time featherweight champ after Jose Aldo, and the first male fighter to win a title fight after turning 35. In his post-fight speech, Volk said, "People doubted me, and that's okay. I never stopped believing. This one's for my supporters." Lopez, even in defeat, showed respect. "I gave it my all. I'll be back. This isn't over." At 30, Diego Lopez still has time. And after this performance, no one's counting him out. What Volkanovski did in this fight wasn't just skill, it was brutal comeback. He got knocked down. He had an eye injury. But he never panicked. He stuck to the game plan and fought like a champion. That's why he's one of the best to ever do it. Lopez also didn't quit. Not once. He had his moments, especially that knockdown in round 2 and the pressure in round 4. He just came up short this time. But make no mistake, he's the real deal. And he'll be back. So there you have it. UFC 314 gave us a classic. Volkanovski proved he's still the great. And Diego Lopez proved he belongs with the elite. Who's next for Volkanovski? That's the big question. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But one thing's for sure. The featherweight division just got a whole lot more interesting.
This is how we win. We game plan, we use our fight IQ, and we beat motherfuckers up. Anyone else got any questions?
Who would you like to fight next?
Anyone in the top 4, top 5?
By now you've probably seen the headlines. But what really went down at UFC 314 between Paddy Pimblett and Michael Chandler? Well, the baddie didn't just win, he made a statement. A third-round knockout in a fight that could change the future of the lightweight division. UFC 314 went down at the Kaseya Center in Miami, and while the main card was packed, it was the co-main event that had fans talking. Paddy Pimblett, the rising fan favorite, was taking on Michael Chandler, a veteran known for his wild, aggressive style. For Chandler, this fight was about proving he still had it. For Paddy, it was the biggest test of his career. Before they stepped in the cage, both guys were confident. Chandler made it clear he was coming to throw hands. Paddy? He stayed cool, saying he'd use his reach and grappling to handle whatever Chandler brought. And let's be honest, everyone knew Chandler was going to come out swinging. Round 1, testing the waters. It started off pretty balanced. Chandler scored an early takedown, and for a second, it looked like he might control things. But Paddy got back up fast, landed some nasty leg kicks, and kept his distance. Chandler threw heavy shots, but Pimblett stayed composed and kept chopping away at those legs. Round 2, Paddy finds his rhythm. This is where it shifted. Paddy looked more confident, more in control. He stuffed Chandler's takedown and even got on top, throwing elbows and threatening submissions. Chandler was still dangerous, but Paddy was clearly pulling ahead. Round 3. Lights out. And then came the moment. Early in the third, Pimblett landed a brutal knee that cut Chandler open. He followed it up with a takedown, got into a dominant position, and started raining down strikes. The ref had no choice but to step in. TKO, fight over, statement made. Paddy's win wasn't a fluke. Here's how he did it. Smart striking. He used his reach and landed heavy leg kicks, keeping Chandler from getting too close. Better grappling. On the ground, Paddy was in control. He reversed positions, threatened submissions, and made Chandler uncomfortable. Insane cardio. He kept the pressure high all fight long. By the third round, Chandler was slowing down, and Paddy took full advantage. What they said after. After the fight, Paddy didn't hold back. He said he's coming for the top 5. You can laugh all you want, but look at me now. He gave props to his team and said the game plan worked perfectly. Chandler, on the other hand, was quiet. This was his third straight loss, and it might be the toughest one yet. What this means for the lightweight division, Paddy's now in the mix. With a win like this, he's probably cracking the top 10. One more big win, and he could be fighting for the title. Chandler? It's hard to say. He's now 2-5 in the UFC. Still dangerous, still exciting, but the road back to the top just got a lot tougher. Paddy Pimblett didn't just beat Michael Chandler, he dominated him. Striking, grappling, cardio, it was all there. And now, the baddie is looking at the top of the mountain. Paddy Pimblett's win at UFC 314 wasn't just another victory, it was a message to the division. He's not just hype, he's the real deal, and he's coming for that title.